I love the education side of things because I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't have leads and you don't understand them, the business, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you're not going to buy anymore.
Exactly. So all that time you wasted on getting your license or going through contracting and all of that is just, it's for nothing. So I think that that's like super important. And I just kind of want to ask you a couple details on that call that you have with your agents. Like, what are some of the expectations that you set? And then what does it look like in terms of, do you tell them they have to spend a certain amount? Do you work with their budget? What does that look like?
So in the Calendly, which I'll send it to you guys, just so you can have it and look what created in the Calendly link. When they schedule the appointment, there's a question that asks like, what is your budget, your initial budget for leads? And then I put like, the minimum I have is 300 to 500. And then I put like 500 to 1,000 or 500 to 750, 1,000 to 2,000. And then I put an other box just because I know some people will get freaked out that they have to spend 300. But as soon as they put that, if they put like, I can spend $100 and I get them on the Zoom, I'm very upfront with them saying like, listen, would you spend $1,000 knowing that you were gonna make 5,000 out of it, or would you rather spend $100 and make 150 out of it? Or like I say something like that, like not exact, but it's like something in correlation. I'm like, would you rather spend a larger amount to make more? Or would you rather spend a small amount and make a very, very small amount? And all of them say like, well, yeah, I would spend more. And I'm like, okay, well, that's how this business is going to work, because the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. This is a 1099 role. So your work ethic is going to determine how much you make. So your work ethic, if you only have 10 leads, what's your work ethic going to look like? You can make 10 dials. If you have 150 leads, what's your work ethic going to look like? You can make 300 dials, 500 dials. So that's kind of my expectations, is I always say they have to have at least 150 leads. And if their budget's really, really tight, I straight up tell them, you should go get a part-time job. Once you have some income coming in to have enough to put your all into this business, then we'll revisit. But I'm just very upfront with people about that, because I've had people that I'm like, oh yeah, you can spend 100, and then they fail in the next 2 weeks because they get hung up on twice and they only have 15 people, and then they get one bad number and one wrong address, and they're like, these leads suck, this business doesn't work.
One thing that I do with all the guys that I talk to is I ask them, how much do you want to write? And they're like, 30K, because that's what they see online, right? Yeah. They watch their YouTube videos, it says 30K. And I'm like, okay, do you realize how much leads you're going to have to spend to write 30K?
Right.
And they're like, well, not really. I'm like, minimum 5,000, minimum. So if you're not willing to spend 5,000, let's lessen your goal. So you're not thinking that you'll never hit that goal. If you want to write 20, let's say that's 4 minimum.
Right.
And so it's always a 4 or 5x from what your lead spend is to what you're going to write, because you're going to write more. You're only going to issue, 75 to 80% of that, and then you're going to get advanced 75% of what you issued. And so just, I guess, reverse engineering it. And we have different approaches, right? She usually talks to most of the females. I talk to the dudes. And I'm like, I just put it in a perspective for them. If you want to write 40, you're going to have to spend 8. You're probably going to have to spend 8, 6, 8, somewhere around that range to write 40,000. There's no way in hell you're going to write 40,000 or even 30,000 without spending 5. And I recently had a gentleman that works out of my office here. And he's like, man, like, you really think if I spend 2,000 a week, I'll write 30? I'm like, how much did you spend last week or last month? And he's like, around 4,000. And I was like, okay, how much did you write? And he's like, 17. I was like, double that, 8,000 in lead spend. You should probably write 34, could write more. So I think it's just really helping them understand that, like, if you want to get these lofty numbers of 20, 25, 30K, what that looks like in lead spend. And if you're not willing to spend that amount of money in leads, you have to understand you're going to probably write 10 to 15, spending 2, 3 to 4.
Which is fine. We just put that into perspective for them, so they're not like they have the wrong expectations.
Well, I think my favorite thing that you had talked about as well, Gage, and I apologize for interrupting again, Rachel, but I think reverse engineering when you do the lead strategy with your new agents is just so integral, because at the end of the day, we're all independent contractors. We're all trying to facilitate this opportunity, and we're all just looking to put people in the best position possible. So we're not telling you got to be a 30K producer, 40K, 50K, 60K. What I figure out is like, how many days are you trying to work? How much money are you trying to make? I have part-time agents on the team that are working 3 days a week that are making $15,000 to $20,000 a month. I have full-time agents on the team that are working 6 days a week that are making $30,000 to $60,000 a month. At the end of the day, what are your goals? How hard are you willing to work? And then what I also think is extremely important is setting the right expectations when it comes to the leads. We're all independent contractors. We're all business owners. I know it's overwhelming because you think you're an insurance agent and you're partnering on this team, but we're all independent contractors and we're all business owners, like whether you want to acknowledge it or not. So we're literally treated the same as like a restaurant owner. And Stephen, he had said something at a couple conferences ago that like hit me like a ton of bricks. If you started a restaurant, you guys, you have to rent out a space, then you have to purchase restaurant equipment, then you have to hire staff. Then you have to buy the raw materials for the food. Then you have to market the food with the dying hope and dream that you'll get one customer. So from a level of investment, you have to invest a lot of time, energy, staff, and resources before you can even turn a profit. What I talk about when I talk with new agents is the sales cycle process within the insurance industry. What other industry can you get your license for such a cheap cost and just studying for 158 question exam? You need to get a 60, 65, 70% to pass. And then you can either help family and friends for your initial lead investment, or you can invest in yourself, put it on a credit card. But the most important thing is understanding why you buy the leads. Because you're not looking to sell to your family and friends. This isn't Northwest Mutual. This isn't Prudential. This isn't New York Life to where you need to sell out your internal network. We have a system with warm buyers that filled out forms in their handwritings. It's our job to educate our agents the expectations. And what I always talk about is the direct relationship between time and money. So it's like, if you want to spend more money, on leads, you're going to spend less time on the phone. If you don't have a lot of money, but you have a lot of human capital, invest your human capital, acknowledging that you don't have the financial capital to match that yet, right? Learn the skill set, fail forward, buy the cheaper leads, learn the objections. Once you get your feet wet, once you get the deposits, once you get a little swagger and momentum, then let's look at a buy per lead order, a direct mail lead order. And I think it's just educating them on the expectations of the type of leads and the fact that you need to invest in shifting their mindset from being a W-2 salaried employee or being a W-2 hourly employee to being an independent contractor, believing in yourself, investing in yourself, creating your own schedule that allow you to achieve the results that you want. And I just love that you guys reverse engineer that. And it's so refreshing to hear from you guys to kind of hear a similar mindset and structure to set up your agents for success, because I think if we don't do that as leaders, we're really shooting ourselves in the foot, because we're not putting our agents in the best position to succeed, and we're ultimately just being counterintuitive to all of our goals. So I just appreciate your transparency, appreciate the fact that you reverse engineer it and really allow them to understand the expectations from a personal accountability standpoint. And the reason why is because it allows them to draw the line in the sand. It's either like, I'm going to commit to doing this 100%, or now's not the right time. But when you put expectations and you challenge your agents, I think it's a true way to establish that. So I appreciate you sharing that with the team for sure.
Of course.
Yeah, I will say that like when I interview people, I say that in the beginning, like exactly what you said. Like I tell them about like, you're starting a business here. If you were to go get I always say if you start a pizza shop, every week you got to have inventory to keep your pizza shop open, pizza, dough, cheese. Well, we don't have any inventory or overhead like a pizza shop, but our, inventory is leads, because the only way for us to stay in business is being able to talk to someone every week and getting in front of a family every week. And we can only do that with leads.
Right.
Yeah, and what I think is cool about you like sharing that, and then what Vinny said, you guys kind of tied it together, is like, goes back to what you guys had shared in the beginning of the call, which is when you guys stepped up into that leadership role. Like, what people sometimes forget when they're on the phone, when you're recruiting them or when they're coming into this business, is that like they're the business owner. So you might not think that right now because you don't know anything. But if you go into that role, you become the business owner. You become that independent insurance agent that's going to go figure it out. That mindset switch is what's going to make you go reach out to all the people that you need to reach out to find success. It's going to make you sit on the phone and dials until you get your appointments. It's what's going to make you hit every expectation that you need to be successful. And the fact that like you guys are setting up that expectation from the beginning, that is like what also helps those like little stepping stones to get where you need to go. Because if you don't have realistic expectations, that whole business owner mindset is just down the drain because you feel like a failure. So yeah. I think if everyone were to come into this and kind of just like grab into that role, like just grab it and just be in it and soak it up and then just go through those expectations, I feel like everyone would come out on the other side super successful.
Yeah, and that just came from us doing the wrong thing too many times, you know, hiring someone and not giving them the right expectations. And then they come into it not knowing that they're going to have to be, you know, the one that's waking themselves up in the morning, the one that's putting in the work to get to their goals. Like you have to be self-motivated, otherwise it's not going to work out. So the only reason we've done that now is because we went through a lot of failures to get to that point. It's been learning how to structure this business the right way, and unfortunately it's been through failures, and unfortunately there's a lot of, you know, good people that we didn't set those right expectations with, or we didn't set them up for success, and now they're no longer here. And it's like it almost to me it's like I got to get better. Like I don't want to set that next person up. I want to be confident in what I'm telling them, that it's going to work. But you have to draw a fine line too. Like you can't blame yourself for other people's failures either, because you have to understand that not everyone is going to be like you either. And that's what I'm having troubles with Cody and Willis, is they're just like, dude, I want to like, I'm like, dude, you guys gotta understand, you guys are a special breed. Like you're gonna track those people through time, but you're not gonna just get them right away. Like what you guys do and the effort and time that you guys put in, like that's not how everybody's wired, not how everybody is operating. Because a lot of people are just set in the W-2 mindset. And so we really have, Jordan said this, and I keep preaching it, is like, your first year in this business is you just breaking your bad habits, whatever they are. We all got them, good, bad, ugly, really bad, like small, big. And we just have to identify those, and you're not going to break a bad habit in a month or two. Like a year is a good time of breaking stuff, or 3 months, a quarter, half a year, and just taking little things out of your business that matter or not money making activities, and putting more focus into this business, because it's going to take a lot of focus and a lot of energy and a lot of time to get this thing rolling, to get the wheels spinning. And everybody quits in the first 9 months. So that if you're still in your first 9 months, you know, something that kept me in this business big time was I figured out when that 9-month mark was. Jordan's like, dude, if you make it through 9 months, you'll never quit. And I was like, dude, I got to get rid of these thoughts. I keep thinking about going and doing something else. Yeah. And when he told me that, I was like, okay, May 2020, I just got to make it. May 2020, I'll never quit. I'll never think about this negative Nancy crap. And so I changed my mindset to saying, okay, I just got to make it to May. And then it was May, and then we were sales manager. And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. You know, like I'm starting to get my back end money, and we're swimming in lead bills, but we're making it happen. Like I made it through this 9 months. I won't have those thoughts anymore. Like I made it. I felt like I made it. Yeah. And so anybody on this call, if you're still in your first 9 months, figure out when that 9-month mark is and put it on your board in your room, put it in your bathroom, you know, whatever that month is. And just know, like, you have to be shooting towards a goal to stay alive. You can't fail if you don't quit. Yep.
Love it. Thank you guys so much for everything that you've poured into the team and everything you've shared. You've shared so much, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you having us on. And like I was preaching earlier, we use every opportunity like this to become better leaders. And so for you guys and everybody on this call, use opportunities when people reach out to you. I mean, I get DMs weekly from random people. Hey, I watched your video on YouTube, man. Like, can we talk? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Real quick, dude. Like, I got a big team. Like, I'll give you some time, but like, I'm not gonna ignore them. I'm never too big for that, because I remember where I was at, and I remember how much people helped me. So as long as you keep that mindset, you're going to be okay. But we do really appreciate you guys having us on here. We do, idolize you guys as well for what you built as a couple. Yes. And we just wish you guys nothing but luck and hope that we can help you and your team any way that we ever can.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And same to you guys. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.